If you receive an inheritance that's already invested, do you leave it invested or should you cash it in and pay off your mortgage? Have a real life financial planning scenario involving those questions, that and more, coming up. Let's face it, debt is emotional, especially a mortgage, and there's emotions involved with wanting to get that paid off. And there are times when those emotions are really good. They can encourage you to make sacrifices and really grind out and make some hard-earned progress in your financial life, like grinding through and paying off some debt early. But sometimes those same emotions can blind us from other possibilities, or maybe making a prudent financial decision just because, we just want to accomplish this so bad, and you you ignore the other options. The choice of, I'm receiving an inheritance, do I invest it or do I put it on debt or put it on the mortgage? There's almost an infinite number of circumstances where you might say it's going to make sense to do one thing or the other. In this instance, though, the circumstances led where the conclusion was extremely clear. As soon as the fact pattern was laid out, it was very, very clear you should do this one thing and not the other. Let me give you the fact pattern, then I'll share what the circumstances were, and then I'll share what the no-brainer advice appeared to be. So circumstances were, this is a young but retired couple, so 64 and 62, and they are set to inherit about $100,000, and they coincidentally have a mortgage of about $100,000. So this inheritance from his mom, and she lived a long life and had failing health, and so passed away in her late 80s. And so yeah, awful. And yet they're trying to make a prudent financial decision. So about $100,000, it's already invested, okay, and it's not an IRA. That's a key factor here. So they received, this was one of their questions as we spoke, they're going to receive a step up in cost basis for the investments that mom owned up to the value as of the date of her death. And so essentially they could withdraw the entire account at basically no tax consequence, okay? So in that situation, do you use that inheritance, that $100,000, to pay off the mortgage, or it's already invested, do you keep it invested? Well, here are some of the circumstances that I think should be considered if you're presented with this same situation. One is, what's the interest rate of the mortgage? Okay, what's the interest rate of the mortgage? If you're very low interest rate because you locked it in, it was locked in back when interest rates were below 3%, that might just sway the decision all in itself. Another one is the house that you're going to be staying in. We see a lot of times where people are so emotionally tied to, I want to get that mortgage paid off. All of a sudden, they then think, well, after a year or 2 years of that mortgage being paid off, wow, I think I can afford a bigger house. And they get right back into maybe even a more expensive mortgage. And so instead of having those dollars, and maybe that was a goal of theirs, I'm not making any value judgments, but if the decision is now pay off the mortgage or invest, well, if you pay off the mortgage just to go get another mortgage in the future for a bigger house, those dollars may have inflated your lifestyle, but didn't really help you with your financial progress if that was your goal. How much do you currently have saved up for retirement? Are you on track? I mentioned in this circumstance, they're already retired, 64 and 62, but that's young. Like they've got a couple of decades yet ahead of them. And so how much do you currently have saved up? And then another circumstance, are you withdrawing a sustainable amount from your current retirement dollars, or are you withdrawing more than really you should? And therefore, you could run out of money in your retirement nest egg early, and keeping these dollars invested will prolong your retirement nest egg. And then another one, and last one I'll list here, but I already sort of mentioned it, is what's the taxation of this inheritance? Again, that might sway it completely. If this 100,000 is all IRA dollars, and therefore it's going to follow the 10-year rule, you need to withdraw it within 10 years, but it's going to be taxable when you do, well, $100,000 after, if you take it all out at one time, that could move you into the 22% tax bracket, could cause you to pay tax on your Social Security if you otherwise weren't, which, by the way, that is their situation. They are not paying tax on their Social Security. And so this actually could mean you withdraw $100,000, but 25 or 30 grand needs to go towards taxes. And so that's going to play a big role and big factor as well. So if you're faced with a similar circumstance, or maybe as you're just geeking out, kind of following this with me, those are some of the circumstances that you need to evaluate to help you determine whether yeah, we should withdraw this money, this inheritance, pay off the mortgage, or no, we should keep it invested. Let me tell you the answers to their situation. I already mentioned that this inheritance, should they withdraw, it'd be essentially tax-free to them. Their mortgage is just over 6%. They moved recently, about a year and a half ago, into a place where they expect to stay for a long time. So that's the second question as well. So higher interest mortgage rate, and they expect to be in this house for a long period of time. They don't have a ton saved up for retirement, just into the six figures, maybe 125 grand, but they're not withdrawing anything. And they don't plan to. In fact, she just turned 62. They haven't even started her Social Security yet. And when they do, they're already living just fine, the lifestyle that they want on his Social Security, and he's got a small pension. When she starts her Social Security, they're going to be flush with cash. They don't plan on touching their 125 grand. So even though you might say, well, gosh, they don't have a lot saved for retirement, this 100,000 they should add to it, give themselves more flexibility, more liquidity. They're technically not living off of their dollars right now and don't plan on it. So you've got to factor that in as well. With all of that fact pattern, to me, it seemed clear that they should use the inheritance to pay off the mortgage. This is mathematically not going to make a lot of sense in all circumstances, but for them, they are not very aggressive investors. And at this stage of life, you could probably argue, yeah, they don't need to be. And their current portfolio is already structured to be around a 7 to 8% average annual return. And if we were to structure that same investment, this inheritance dollars into that same type of investment strategy, yeah, 7 to 8% is what we would hope to earn. But then that growth would be taxable when they took it out, or dividends and so on. And if they could get a surefire a little over 6% rate of return by paying off the mortgage compared to taking some risk and maybe getting 7%, it seemed like a very clear time where you'd want to use the inheritance dollars to pay off the mortgage. That was going to free up over $1,000 of monthly payment. So therefore, again, helping their cash flow if and when she turns on Social Security now that she's eligible to do so. In many instances, it's going to make a lot of sense just to leave the inheritance invested and keep it there for your long term. In this case, though, made sense for them to use the dollars to pay off the mortgage. Because we've been doing financial planning, we know all 6 areas of their financial life and understand their tax picture and understand their retirement picture, understand their investment goals and risk tolerance, their cash flow and present financial position. That's the perspective you need to have, looking at all 6 areas of your financial life to determine, well, what would be the wise choice? Because you would say paying off the mortgage, that's good. Keeping it in cash, that'd be good. Saving it and keeping it invested for your retirement, that's good. These are good choices. But looking at all 6 areas of your financial life, seeing how they intersect and what the impact would be based on, well, one decision over the other, you can sift through those good choices and find the great choice for your unique financial situation. Work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with KWiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@Korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go on and take your next wise step in your financial life.